Yet more folks in my William Hill are tossers. And to be honest with you, as I said yesterday, all the other high street bookmakers and all the other major internet bookmakers, I would suggest, judging by some of the stories that I'm hearing, the things that I'm reading. But again, I'll look on Sunday today, I don't know if many of you have seen it. Nick Luck was interviewing, I think it was somebody from the Gambling Commission, maybe the head honcho if memory serves. I didn't catch the guy's name, I did, but I've not wrote it down. And I can't remember what industry it was from, but I think it was the Gambling Commission. And Nick's fighting there for the punters, sort of. All about these affordability checks. And again, it's absolutely doing my head in keep hearing about affordability checks. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, look, you might sort of convince yourself you're fighting for the punters, and to a small extent you are, because we're all fed up with these affordability checks, and many of us are walking away. Up to now, folks, me myself, I've left William Hill because of the debacle over the weekend. They've restricted what I could win 12, 18 months ago now, and why I don't know, because I've never won anything major off them, but they restricted what I could put on and what I could win to really small amounts. And I should have left before then, but I actually left now on Saturday. That's it. I left SPREADEX about 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, and I liked SPREADEX. I thought they were great, a great company to deal with, great people on the live chats and the phones, really good company. I liked them, but they've asked for documentation and stuff. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. The TOTE, I've not left them, but I've not bet with them for over a year now. I've mentioned on here what the problem I had with the TOTE is, and I'll tell you quickly what it is. This is how crazy it's become. I had a couple of big wins on the TOTE about 18 months, 2 years, 2.5 years ago now. Time flies and you forget. And I made a stupid decision in drawing much of the money out. Anyway, the TOTE have their own policies, everybody does. When you've put in so much into the pot, when you bet so much, they have to ask you for further things like bank details and where your money comes from and all this palaver. And I'd reached that tag, I think it was say £5,000 over God knows how long, and I'd reached that. But for all I'd reached it, I took £7,000, £8,000, £9,000, £10,000 out or whatever I won. I can't remember what I won, but I took a good few grand out. And I thought, well, I'm not 5 grand into them. I'm not losing 5 grand. In fact, at this stage, I'm probably still in front. So why do they need bank statements and proof of earnings and all of that? And they said, look, we're really sorry. It's just what we have to do now to comply. And I said, well, I'm not going to bet with you then. And to this day, I haven't. I still do play spots and the like, but I did do them with 365 until I've documented that as well. All the problems I had with 365. The system was crap. They didn't get it fixed. They've now since got it fixed. They've not compensated me for all the help I've given them, because without me, they wouldn't have even known it was cocked up. That's how good they are, and they're the biggest company of all. And I, in my own way, helped them out on about 8 or 9 occasions after 8 or 9 live chats. That's how many it took, folks, to get it sorted. It's now sorted. I've seen nothing from it. So I tend to put on my bets now with Sky Bet. I do TOTE bets. They do TOTE then. I can do my play spots there. But anyway, the TOTE I've gone from, and I like the TOTE as well. So I've gone from the TOTE, I've gone from SPREADEX, and I'm closing down William Hill. And I know they're asking for more and more of us, folks, and many like me are just saying, well, you're just not having it. I'm not going to give people my details. Why should I? I'm in my 60s now. I've bet all my life. I bet responsibly to my means. I bet what I can lose. Why should I be asked? As many have said, if I play the machines in there, or if I play roulette on my laptop here, they're not asking for me details then. I had a message yesterday, somebody's message, they just won £1,000 on the roulette with William Hill. Paid them straight away, no problem. They do that on there, because more often than not, they're winning, they're well in front. It's the racing public they're butchering. It's us that they're having a go at, and the government aren't helping because they're the same. But this guy was on there, Nick's supposedly fighting on behalf of us, and again I'm thinking the same as I'm always thinking, wait a minute, it's alright stopping these affordability checks. I'm sure the bookmakers they like asking for more and more info because they want to know more and more about us. It's the society that we live in now. They want to know all about us. But what they won't like is when they ask for these affordability checks and we don't give them and we move away. They won't like us stopping betting altogether. They certainly won't like us going to the black market. And they definitely won't like us going to their competitors. They'll want our business. William Hill won't want me going to Ladbrokes or 365. They'll want me to bet what I bet with William Hill. But they are told to ask for these affordability checks, and I get that, so they're not happy. And to that end, they've got all their people fighting on their behalf. All these ambassadors they've got fighting the people in charge that are saying these are the new rules coming in. These governments, these parliamentary groups, they've got people lobbying them all the time, and it's the well-known horse racing people, e.g. Nick Luck. And I like Nick, I think he's great. What they've also got is they've got all of us punters being asked by Racing TV or UK, whatever they call now, Sky Sports Racing, especially ITV Racing, lobby your politicians, do this, do that, sign this position, do this, say you're not happy. They want us all doing it, but they want us doing it so as the bookmaker doesn't ask for all this documentation, and so we can keep betting with them and ultimately keep losing. But what I keep saying is this, and I'll say it again and again and again, the bookmakers want it all their own way. They don't want to ask us for the affordability checks if they don't have to, as long as it means keeping us. They want us to keep betting as long as we're losing. But if we win, they'll firstly restrict us and then they'll ban us. They don't want us to win. So they want it all their own way. And it's all well and good, Nick, look, asking these questions. But isn't Nick himself, isn't he a William Hill ambassador? I'm sure he is. His show used to be sponsored by something to do with Dubai. Is it a feed from Dubai, a horse racing feed? It's now sponsored by TOTE, was it World TOTE, TOTE Pool, TOTE Bet, whatever. It's the TOTE anyway, Whirlpool. I think they sponsor that. So there's two I'm not with. I'm not with William Hill. He's a spokesman for them. I'm not with the TOTE, the programme sponsored by them. And I'm just thinking it's crazy. I'm thinking, when is it going to be where somebody on TV is going to go up to this politician and say, wait a minute, we don't want you to just look at affordability checks, because that's all on behalf of the bookies. What we also want is, we want the bookies to be put in line whereby they've got to stand a bet. Firstly, they've got to take a reasonable bet off every man, woman and child in the country that wants to bet. Secondly, they've got to pay it out without asking for all this documentation. If they're letting us put a bet on without all this documentation, they shouldn't ask for a documentation when it's due. They should just pay it out. But as well as that, if we're winning, they should let us win to a decent amount. Because they'll let us lose to a decent amount. More on that later. I'm going to do a later one today or tomorrow. I'm going to read you through one email I got from one of the followers, one of the people that watches the channel. I got it yesterday. Thank you very much, sir. I can't remember your name. I'm going to read that out. And then I'm going to tell you a story about a friend's child who I tried to represent, who was betting with Coral and Sky Bet. And I'll tell you a story, one of probably many out there. Just shocking, and it just makes me... There's not a bookmaker I like anymore. There's not. There's really not a bookmaker I like. But the fact is, they want it absolutely all their own way. That American gent that we mentioned on the channel yesterday that had the bet in 2014, or the bets in the betting shop where they stopped him putting bets on because he was winning. He said, in America, we put a bet on and the bookmaker stands the bet and that's it. Can I have this on that horse or dog? Can I or not? Yes, you can. Boom. Put the money on. If it wins, can you pay me out? Yes, I will. No problem. That's how it used to be in this country when I was growing up. Like, so again, somebody said yesterday, it used to be a point of honour. You know, it was a gentleman's agreement. You put a bet on, and that bookmaker, whoever it was, be it online, in a shop, or online and in a shop, on a back street, behind a boozer, in a boozer, wherever, if you put a bet on with them, they paid it out, and that was it. And you could have as much as you wanted on, and if it was going to bust him or he couldn't take it, he'd say, look, I can't take that much, but I'll take this much. It was an handshake and you got paid. It's gone crazy, it really has. Anyway, I'll leave this with you. Let me know what you think. Can you ever see where we get to a stage where... Is it in Australia where you're allowed to win X amount of pounds or dollars per day? I'm sure it's Australia brought it in. That's what we should be bringing in. That's what we should all be lobbying for, folks. Not anything else. We want these affordability checks stopped, especially when we're of an age like I am, where we bet all our lives and we're not putting our shirts on every nag in every race. But we also want it to be where they don't close us down or get rid of us because we're winning. They have to stand a bet for a certain amount that we can win or lose or whatever it may be. That's what we should be pushing for. I don't care what anybody says. But nobody seems to be pushing that agenda at all.